Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Live with Joan. And we're in our series, How to Help Animals. And we have a very special guest coming up. I'm very excited about this series. I know that people are really going to benefit from, especially today, because it's going to open our minds and hearts up in a way, um, minds and hearts open in a way that has been profound for me, and I know it will be for all of us. So especially collectively with what we want to do. And so, how to help animals really targets how we can get out of our own way so that we can really be of service here on the planet, because it feels like we need the extra support of all of us, especially us animal empaths who know that there's something better for animals, and yet um, maybe our own feelings get in the way, a number of things get in the way of us being able to do exactly what we want to do. But I know that if you've been in this group for a while, you've committed to the idea that we're going to help 22 million animals this year. And so this is part of our little course to get us on target. If you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. And the program is for people that want to do anything from learn animal communication to being certified, to learn energy healing to being certified. And now we're opening up the nature and wildlife part of the school. So I'm very excited about today. Claudia, do you want to share who we have as our guest?
Yes, we have Sarah McCrum, author of Love Money, Money Loves You. She will be talking to us about how we can tap into our limiting beliefs around money so that we can expand
our ability to help and expand our consciousness around money. So let's bring Sarah on.
Here she comes.
Ta-da!
And here she comes. There we go.
Hi, Joan.
I think it's really early there.
It is really early. That's why I have a slightly strange background, because I can't be in my normal office. It's 4 o'clock in the morning and everyone's asleep. And
Oh my God.
only for you, Joan. Almost. I don't usually do this.
Well, thank you. I really, I mean, I think we're all going to be very grateful, but I'm really grateful because I just wanted to share that I saw that you put out an email the other day, and I've started to watch some of them. And one of our own students, Lena, is in your series of interviews, but you are interviewing people on what changes people have had around money. And I have to tell you, from the moment I read your book, I really, things have flown. The energy just opened up for me in a way that I always knew was possible, but I just didn't have a how. And I kind of moved how out of the way. And I think that's a good part of it. But I also just opened up, I mean, the discussion with money of what's going on. And Claudia had told her husband the other day, what did you tell your husband? That you've watched me do whatever I want?
What I said was that in the years that I've worked with you as a student and working with you in this school, I saw you manifest everything that, like, you tell me about what you wanted to do, and then I'd see you just kind of check it off the list. And it was just kind of, and I do notice a correlation with when you started reading Sarah's book, and how, for sure, I did see that, which is why I have the book.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, I have, and I'm hoping you and I will get on a Zoom in the next few days, Sarah, because I do have some goodies I can't announce yet, but that are even more part of this whole manifestation. So, but what I know that a lot of people here have been, yeah, I want to talk about so many things, but I wanted to first start with so many people here want to help animals or have a profound impact with animals, or maybe they've wanted to rescue, maybe they've wanted to be able to write big checks. But a lot of times, what debilitates us is our own feelings, our oversensitivity. Oops, I have a really teeny camera now. Oversensitivity, if you will. And so I was wondering if you had anything to say about that.
Yeah, I see this all the time. I was thinking just yesterday that the people who want to really with their heart make the world a better place, there's actually quite a lot that we need to get in gear. And it's one of the things that's very challenging for people who are highly sensitive or who are highly empathic, is that we get in our way. It's not an expression I like very much, but we get in our way in many ways that we don't realize are stopping us from doing what we want. And you see that in our relationship with money, which is what I work with a lot. But everybody who I work with, more or less, is highly sensitive, is empathic, often to human beings. Many of them also with animals. I have a mix. And so I think it's that combination, the sensitivity, which opens us up to the kind of more subtle world, and is what makes you able, for example, to connect with animals and have that special relationship that people have. But then we tend to not know how to manage ourselves very well, and then we don't know how to manage money very well. And then if you can't manage yourself and you can't manage money, then you're not going to be able to do what you want to do. So like what I found is, whatever it is that you feel is your mission or this thing you're so passionate about, that's kind of like your Batman training. It's like Batman went to a cave in China and was hauled over the coals like every day for years by this master to learn how to be somebody who could save his city. It's probably not a great example for sensitive animal lovers, but the truth is that we need to become strong. We must become strong and able to handle everything that gets thrown at us. And if you're trying to do something that flies in the face of the direction that life sometimes appears to be going, you need that extra piece of strength. And that applies to yourself. It applies to your relationship with money. It applies to your relationship with other people, because you need people, you need yourself, you need all of these things to work in order to make this thing work that you care about so passionately.
It's funny because whenever we get on these interviews, we always find all the correlations between working with money. And once again, that's one of those things that I talk about a lot, that even in our own household, we have to have pretty, not strict, but solid boundaries, because otherwise the household runs amok with, and it's not like I haven't been guilty of that, but it is, but it's always a work in progress, right? Like I can look at how great my energy is going or not going based on the animals around me, and then I create boundaries. And it feels like what you're talking about is really learning to have solid boundaries for ourselves and for others, so that we can work within that confine.
Yes, and to have a way to rise to the challenges. I've seen you do that since I've known you. There's one thing is like, oh, I would love to do this. I would love my school to be bigger. I'd love to help more animals. I'd love to, whatever it is, we all have that thing. And then sometimes it feels like, oh, but if I would love to experience this or create this or contribute this, there are all these things that appear to get in the way. I wrote a little book once, it's a tiny little ebook called The Game Changer's Journey, and people, your people are what I call game changers, people who really want to change the game and the way we do things. And what I found, like, we must have that really strong desire, and then we need to have the methodology, if you like, to be able to deal with the challenges, because whatever it is that you want, and the bigger it is, the bigger the challenge is. That's just in the nature of things. But those challenges are not there, in my view, to kind of get in your way or to stop you, which is what they often do. They often just stop people and they don't know how to get through. They're actually there to grow you in order to be able to achieve the thing you want to achieve, if you know how to meet those challenges, then you will, it's like you're growing yourself to become the person who can be part of the helping 22 million animals this year team. So we've got two things. One is like, we need to be able to work with each other and not try to be the lonely hero. I'm going to do the 22 million on my own, because that's not going to work. But also, how can I show up the best I can this year, so that whatever it is that I would love to contribute to that, I'm able to do it. I'm not sitting at home feeling sorry for myself because I just had an argument with somebody. Or these are the things that get in the way. It's like, not the work itself, but it's that stuff. It's, oh, I had an argument. Oh, I really don't like that person. Oh, I'm too sensitive. I can't handle this. Oh, I don't like money. I don't want to touch money. That's not going to work for me. And then it's like, oh, well, you're limiting yourself. You started off, or Claudia talked about self-limiting. Those are the ways we limit ourselves without realizing what we're doing.
And it is, it's amazing that money just becomes simply an example or that metaphor for the whole thing. But I would love to talk about what you talk about best, which is talking to money.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, first of all, maybe it's helpful to know how that came about. I was in a very difficult place financially. I'd had a business fail, my only business fail, and I didn't have any money at all. And I found myself writing messages from money, literally just writing in my book. And it was like money was talking to me. And the first thing is that the messages that came through were so beautiful and surprising and heartwarming and generous and kind and loving and completely different from what I thought money was. So I just spent every day, I spent 20, 40 minutes writing a message, which turned into a chapter later of the book, which is called Love Money, Money Loves You. And so I discovered that money is something that's alive. It's like, you can think of it a bit like a spirit. It's not quite right, really, but it's if you think of it that way, you kind of get closer. It's something, it's an energy, if you like, that's very present in our lives. So when we talk about money, I'm not really talking about notes and coins and bank accounts. I'm talking about, or this is what I discovered, the energy that's behind money. So we make coins and bank account numbers and things to try to represent this energy. We haven't done a very good job of it, but probably we've done the best we could. We've done it based on a very limited mindset, especially we think that money is very scarce, and so that creates a lot of fear around it. But actually what I discovered is that it's not like that. This energy is abundant, it's available, it's just fully available everywhere. And you can talk to it like, if you're somebody who has that communication with animals, you can talk to it like you can communicate with an animal. It's actually exactly the same. It's just like a bit like an invisible, it's just an invisible presence in our life that is constantly listening to us, constantly tuned into us, and is actually very available. So it's like an animal that actually wants to talk to you rather than an animal that may or may not be very interested in you, or may just not care about you at all. This is an energy that's here, right here for you, with you. So you can literally kind of have a conversation with it. It's actually much easier. It's much easier than most people think it is.
I know. I tell the story that I took a class a billion years ago, and I was surprised. I think it was like the year 2000 or something like that. And I took this class, and it was on angels. It was a friend of mine was teaching, and I was trying to fill the room for her, right? And so we did this exercise with money, and money told me that I didn't love it enough, that I didn't have the respect back, and I'll never forget that. And said, you need to address me like with love. And so I jokingly always say, "Oh, money, sweetheart, I love you." And but it really then became this thing, and it since working with you, and I mean, I'll admit that I've not only done a lot of Sarah's courses, I actually worked privately with her, and it has been a game changer for sure. And for the school too, because a lot of people in the school have bought your book, taken your courses, and she has so many courses that are available, and so beautiful. I mean, I listen to stuff all the time, that some of your activations and things like that. But what I want, so let's say that a lot of people here have big, and maybe, Claudia, we could ask people to type in some of the things that they wish they could do, but money is this limiting belief. And then you could kind of stay on top of that. Because of this platform, I can't really see what people do like I normally do in a Facebook Live. So we're Claudia dependent. And are there a lot of people here?
Yes. So, and let me know if it's too loud on your end, because I'm watching the Facebook Live and the platform. So Susie Morrow Reed is here. Leslie Williams is here. Chris Wilson, good morning.
Good morning.
Heidi Evetts, good morning. Charlie K. She says, here's to allaying our fears and helping animals. Yes. Susie Reed says she loves Sarah's book.
Oh, good. See, you've already got a huge fan base here.
You do.
I know, Joan.
Tanya says, good morning. Chris says, thank you, Sarah. Good morning, Joan and Sarah, from Jane Sewell. And Lena says she's so grateful for the opportunity to watch this interview with Sarah. Debbie O'Hara says hello from Scotland. Jane Wu. Stevie Watson is here, Joan.
Hi, Stevie. Yeah, good.
And she says, I literally told myself last week I needed to change my vibration to one of abundance. Then my magical tribe and leader brings this to me. So interesting. And Shannon Myers, good morning. Love Joan and love Sarah McCrum. Sarah's book and course is amazing. So she shared Shannon shared your YouTube video on your meditations, because someone actually asked for them. So yeah, we have quite a few people on. And Shannon says it works. I talk to money now too after learning this. I'm gonna have to start doing that.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, it does work. And the thing that's fascinating is that when people start doing it, they get really similar kinds of messages as I did. The very first thing that I was told to ask this question, what would money like to say to you? So it's a good starting point. Just what would you like to say to me? Like, hey, money, are you there? What would you like to say to me? It was kind of like that, more or less. And the first thing it said to me, same as you, Joan, is I would like to tell you to love me. Yeah. And then it went on and it said, I can't remember the exact words, but pay with me and play with me, invest me and spend me and save, like do anything that you want with me, is what it said. Literally, it was not like, oh, you must be really this and you must be really that and you can only have money if you're this kind of person. It was completely the opposite of that. It was just like, I'm here to enjoy. I'm here abundantly to help you share your gifts, to connect human beings together in creativity, which is where we feel our most alive. That's what it's really about. And it said, you're too afraid and you're too rigid and there's nothing to be afraid of. It's like, just let go. The final thing it said to me, that first little chapter, was, don't wait, just take me. I will love you. And it's like, you just can't imagine what it feels like until you feel it, to have that kind of message about money.
And that, to me, I mean, literally, that I'm tearing up over that from the first moment you started speaking that way, because, and not that like, I'm crying over money, but I'm crying because there's a part of energy that we've denied ourselves.
Yeah. Deeply, deeply denied through cultures across the world. And we've demonized it. We've made it kind of evil and so bad that, especially if you want to be a good person, if you actually do care about things and really want to do something good, it's almost impossible to engage with money because we've made it so bad. And you can, that's, I think, the really beautiful thing about the book and this message is that it enables good people to engage with money and feel good. You can actually feel like, wow, working with more money, asking for more in my life is a good thing to do. Keeping myself poor is actually just limiting myself and limiting other people. That's not what I want. And it's not saying it. Money never says you must have this much or you should be as rich as you possibly can. It doesn't talk that language. It's talking the language of a rich life, which includes the resources that will enable you to experience a rich life. And a rich life is rich in so many ways and can never be divorced from your purpose or your sense of who you are and what you want to contribute. Like, money is a part of our contribution. Otherwise, we're always really limited. Like, can you imagine running a family without any money? That's hell. So why would you imagine doing something that's helping more people than your family without any money? It doesn't connect together.
Yeah. One of the, go ahead, Claudia.
So I just wanted to tap in before you continue. I have a few people commenting on what they would want to do with money.
Okay, and look, hold on one second, because I definitely still want to get to that. Okay, so it's amazing what you're saying with what you just said, because it's such a big concept that it's like if everybody just moved out of the way what their idea of money was and fell into this feeling of almost like this is fun. Or for me, that's the biggest thing I discovered once I got back in touch with money after reading your book. And then I finally just reached out to you and was like, hey, I want to work with you. It became not a game like it, but it's become very fun. I mean, and I can feel money like wanting to come in, and where in the old days I would think, oh, there's a vacuum here. All of a sudden there is no money, and then there would be money. But now there've been, yeah, it's a very, it's a fun. It becomes very fun, and it becomes.
Yeah, because it's about you and your potential and your wishes. Fundamentally, the book is about what do you want? What are your wishes, and how do these become fulfilled? And you suddenly realize, oh my goodness, life is kind of, this sounds very strange in today's world, but it's kind of like a wish fulfillment system. It's a bit like, we learned as children, like the genie and Aladdin and all those kinds of things, but for real. And it's beautiful. That the thing that I discovered about the energy is that it's exquisitely beautiful. When you just sit and get present with it, it's such a pleasure. You feel so alive. You feel like, oh, it's like this is what life is supposed to be like. This is what I came here for. And it's so odd to talk like that about money, but that was the experience I had. And that's the experience that I see consistently shared with people, that at a practical level, oh, I can do the things I want to do. And I can feel this beautiful feeling about it, which is, I think, really important for empathic people and sensitive people. Because if it's like, oh, yeah, you can have whatever you want, but the energy is harsh or pushy, it doesn't feel good. But this is an energy that's so inviting and soft. It's like, oh, I can relax into this beautiful energy, allow it to flow through me, allow it to be expressed more fully in me, allow it to be part of business rather than what business normally feels like, which I just completely, it's very kind of repels me. Business as normal, I find, I was in a board meeting yesterday, 5-hour board meeting with people who are not very familiar with my language about money, and it feels just so pushy. I can't believe it's so hard commercial. And it's like, guys, there's another way of doing this. But we have to, I have to create that invitation for them to experience it differently. But it makes it possible to do it. If you're someone who loves animals, it makes it possible, not possible, just really inviting to engage with money. And that's the game changer for me, is that it feels beautiful and you get results. When you have that combination, then you want more.
Yeah. And it is beautiful. For me, it's been beautiful and fun, which
Yeah.
I always.
Fun
So,
is really, fun is also, and it's a very big one for you.
yeah. But you know, I also, working hard is fun for me. So I have maybe a skewed sense of fun. But I I couldn't agree more. And I find that I have to continually move into that. Um, there is that old habit, and especially like, you know, you can wake up and see that, like, oh, the stock market fell today. It's like, oh well, we're talking to Sarah McCrum, so we're fine. We've got energy
I
money
mean, I
today.
do actually, I think this is an important message at the moment, because there's a lot of uncertainty around money, much more now than there was probably a couple of years ago. And it looks likely to increase probably for quite a while. I think what's important to understand is that the message that I got, so the messages are all in the book, that message will give you the way, even if the world is very, very messy, or if you've lost your job or your source of income, or, you know, I've had people who've lost all their savings, and you know, the terrible things that can happen. If you know, genuinely know how to ask for what you want and receive it and feel good, you can do that in any situation, because that energy is not based on your bank account or your checkbook or your app. That's based on you and it, pure and simple. And it's one of the things I feel very passionate about in today's world, is that people are equipped with a way to do that, to ask for what you want and receive it and help other people to do the same thing. Wherever you are and whatever the circumstances, whether we're living in the most abundant world or the most volatile world or the most crazy, chaotic world, we can go through those things. But if you know this, it works wherever you are. And it might be, if you're in a difficult situation, you're not going to manifest some huge thing, but you're going to manifest what's right for you at that point. And then if you're in a much more abundant situation, the things that I am involved with, I could not have dreamt to be possible for me, for who I am and what I know about myself. But they happen when you open yourself up, open yourself up, open yourself up, and realize that it's safe to do that. So yeah, I think it's a really important message that this is like an inner technology that never leaves you. You can abandon it, you can ignore it, you can decide like, oh, whatever, I don't like money, but it's never going to do that to you.
Yeah. And that energy of money, if you will, and this is going to be a really weird thing to say, is it parallels a feeling of love.
Yeah, it comes from love. I mean, what I figured out at a very simple kind of spiritual level, it doesn't matter what your spiritual base is, but if you're Christian, you've always heard God is love and God made everything. So then, of course, money's part of that. So money's coming out of that energy. If you have a spirituality that's not religion based, still, when you really drop, when you tap deep into the roots of life, you always find love. Always. It doesn't matter. Whatever the most terrible situations you can be in, when you drop really beneath the surface of what we experience, we always find love. With everyone I teach, that's what we find. And money comes from the same place. Money, in a way, it's like, it's part of nature, actually. This is an energy that's part of nature. It comes from the same thing that animals do, and trees and plants and humans and all of it. It's an alive thing.
I love that. All right, so Claudia, what are some of the people saying their limiting beliefs were their limiting beliefs were?
So what they're writing down is what they want to achieve, but but their beliefs aren't allowing them to.
Okay.
Loretta says, take more courses to serve better in helping animals. Afton says, I'd love to have acreage and sanctuary again, but fear I'll never have enough money.
Afton, you know better.
Yeah, right. Susie Reed says, I would like to be able to contribute to helping with rescues. Jenna LeBarn is top of my list. I have so many rescue animals of my own, and to be able to support them and have more. Jill Todd actually commented on what Sarah was talking about, just like this negative viewpoint of money. And she says, there is such a negative stigma with money. Jane Mortimer says, I was just wondering how to carry on with animal welfare in Goa, India, as there's no shortage of animals to help, and all the NGOs and rescuers have had such a shortage of funds. I'm grateful I've come across this video like an answer to my prayers. So
let's tag that. Oh, because I want to kind of touch on that. Go ahead.
Okay, and then Stevie's saying that this makes so much sense. She tells herself money isn't important, it's just money, but the truth is money is the exchange for everything that I need for my foundation and for my center that will help animals and children with disabilities.
Yes.
Yeah, there's quite a few. I don't want to take up the whole.
Yeah, and so with Stevie's situation, she lives in Manchester, England, and she's been a teacher in of disabled children, and then she's gone through the program, and then she's wanting to open a center. And Stevie was on such a trajectory that it was all happening, then I hadn't heard. But it's like, I know that sometimes, and this is kind of what I was trying to say earlier, that like I go through, and it's very different than it used to be, but it's like there are periods where it's like, hey, it's all here, and then there's a little dip. Can you?
Oh, yes. This is very much part of the growing process. Like, there are a couple of different ways you can look, and they're both valuable. So in one way, nothing's ever a straight line. Everything goes in waves, and that's a natural part of life. But you're probably familiar with this idea that there's a spiral that's kind of, each time you come around this part of the wave, you're actually higher up on the spiral. What I've observed and experienced myself is that whenever there's an expansion, financial expansion coming to me, there is always a period where I feel contracted before that. And what that means is I don't just feel contracted, I have less money. Things get tighter and then they open up. My understanding of that, because I've been working with energy for years and years and years and trained with Chinese masters who taught me about energy, is that when something new is coming in, so there's new energy coming in, which is more evolved. So you're going to be more of who you are. So let's say it's more money to be able to do more of your contribution. Once that new energy starts to come in, so you sort of go into action on your plan, then there's a lot of old energy that needs to be released in order for that new energy to become who you are, so that you're no longer playing the old script, if you like. The tricky part about when that old energy is being released, which is a smaller version of you, a contracted version of you, which used to be who you are, is that you feel it. You feel it through every pore of your body, and it inhabits your mind. You start thinking smaller thoughts, and you think, oh my God, I'm afraid again, I don't have money, and what's happening? These are the moments where we have to recognize what's going on. It's like, okay, I'm letting go of this old stuff. I just need to stay steady on my path, stay open to money, stay open to where I'm going, let this garbage go. However long it takes, whatever it takes, just let it go, let it go. It's not true. It's not who I am anymore. I'm becoming somebody different. And this is how we get through those to the next stage.
So important. And then the other woman who spoke about working in places like India, this is something that I encounter a lot. And this to me is what I feel like I also really want to take a look at, which is, there's for me, there's so many ways in which I would love to help the world, but I know I can't do it alone, and so I've gathered this group. But it also, when you look at something like, let's say, all the dogs in India, or all the, dogs left in Mexico, or, places where there's a lot and there's so much poverty with humans that there's an overwhelm, and then you feel like you can't. How do you think people could kind of back up, reassess, and then walk into it again?
I've experienced a lot of that. Yes, I think there are different parts to that. So one part, which is really where you started, Joan, is recognizing that you can't do it alone. And whenever, this is something I recognized again just last week, I had to write about it. It was such a strong thing. Whenever you feel that feeling of like, I'm just not enough, there is so much that needs to be done, and I'm not enough. I can't, it's like, especially with the kinds of problems you're talking about. And then you see all the human beings who are suffering as well. And it's like, and then people will say, well, what about the humans? And they're the problem. And so you need to deal with that. It's so utterly overwhelming, and you feel so inadequate and powerless in a way. It's difficult to know whether anything you do is useful. Whenever you feel that, the big switch for me is recognizing it's like, oh, of course I'm not enough. It's not like, oh, I'm not enough, I'm never going to do enough. Of course I'm not enough. I'm not enough on my own. I need other people, and I need the intangible, spiritual, whatever your language is. I need the help. I need the kind of inner guidance, and I need the outer help to be able to do this. I think when we're doing big things, we need a very, very strong sense of inner guidance, whether you've experienced it as kind of receiving messages or your inner self, that inner voice. It doesn't really matter how you do it, but it needs to be rock solid to hold you through those moments. When you realize that when you're feeling that inadequacy, you've forgotten all the help that's available to you, and you open up again to that help, that makes an enormous difference. So I think that that's one thing. The other thing that's important is, first of all, like, stay in your track. I work quite closely with an organization that have been working on regenerative farming for 35 years in Australia. They are the veterans of regenerating land in this country. And for most of those 35 years, it was pretty tough. They've done amazing, amazing work, but they weren't praised for it. They weren't sought after for it. They didn't have people queuing up to get them. They now have some of the biggest organizations in the world calling them, saying, hey, we need $1 billion worth of regenerative assets or whatever. Like, the real movers and shakers are coming to them. And honestly, I just think it's because they stuck in there and they never gave up, and they never, ever gave up their principles. They've been through all kinds of struggles, and that can happen in life. That's fine. They never gave up on what they value and what's important. And the work they've done is of so much value that they have become suddenly they're becoming the trend, and they're strong enough and experienced enough to actually be able to handle it. If this had happened 30 years ago, we think, oh, it should happen right away. Everyone should follow my mission because it's amazing. But if you don't have the strength and the systems and the capacity to be able to meet that demand, you need to grow those things, first of all, or find somebody who can help you with them. So a lot of this is us growing. We need to grow. And the other, that might think like, oh, well, I can't wait 35 years. You probably won't. The world is changing a lot quicker now. But what you will find is that you're not the only person doing this. And there are other people who have other parts, and those parts start to connect. And then you'll discover in this community people all over the world doing similar things, and those will start to connect. We can't see that coming. Can you hear the kookaburras? Maybe they're getting blocked out. They're very loud here. The birds, they're just laughing hysterically. Like, they're very loud, and they laugh at the top of their voices at this time of the morning. So.
But
It's a pity you can't hear them. Yeah, so that all those threads start to connect. You know, like Joan and I meet, and there's something that works there. How much more of that can there be? So I think we're in a world where the good things are converging at exactly the time when the old way is being released. The old way is very, very loud now. That's exactly what I described before. As the new way comes in, we do start to meet each other, and these are the ways that the big missions actually get to happen. They don't happen because you stand up and become a lonely hero all on your own, trying to save all the dogs in Goa. That's not going to happen. But when you get people involved and you have the stickability, the tenacity to stick at it, even when it looks like it's a hopeless case, and then you start to connect with your family, so to speak, and that will make this bigger shift.
I think there are a couple of things I want to touch on in there, and that is number one, I'm lucky that I have 5 planets in Leo because I do love people, and I love a good party. Party could be a so I do love working with people, and I feel like right now with the school, I have the dream team. And that's funny that you were stuck in meetings all day yesterday. I was stuck in meetings all day yesterday too for the school, but it was with people I really enjoy, even if we go like this on stuff. I'm so grateful. But one of the, I think the idea of the mission, and I hope Stevie hears this, like it may not happen that minute, right? Like this whole thing might not happen together. And I can't even tell you that one of the things that I can't talk about right now that I'm doing has been in the works for 22 years. And I didn't generate this time. I didn't generate it this time. I'm now part of someone else's. And it's like, that's one thing. The things that the school is doing right now with a lot of our rescue calls, all the nature and wildlife stuff, that's stuff I wrote out in 2013, 2014. So sometimes things take a long time and other things just like click into place. Like I want it. Look, here it is. What do you say about that?
Oh, we need to be able to handle the I want it and it's here, and the long-term game. Like to me, that's so important, because sometimes I think we can be very naive. It's like, oh, well, if I experience one synchronicity or one miracle, then everything should be miracles. It's like, oh, there's something wrong because not everything's happening like a miracle. My life is like I have these beautiful things that happen all the time, and I have these long-term challenges, and that I think that's about being human. Actually, you can have what you can do is in the long-term stuff, you can invite in all the little things that you want along the way, and massively either you speed it up, or sometimes you can't speed it up but you scale it up instead. So if you use the inner technology, the ways of asking for what you want and receiving it, and the feeling good about money, which feeds into feeling good about your mission and all of that. If you use all of that to help you go along the way, I talk about working light, you'll find yourself working much lighter. And sometimes it doesn't speed things up because things have their time. But I tell you what, the scale, the size that you can do things if you use this kind of approach is just I really want to say it's almost beyond imagination what can become possible for you with patience and just these quite simple things, but a lot of these simple things, just doing it over and over and over and over again.
Well, and it's almost like one of the things that it's like patience, which thank God, I don't know where I got so much patience, but I've been very patient about things, especially with the school. Maybe it's from working with animals because you can't push, you know what I mean? You can't push a horse. But the other thing that it comes to mind with it is it's almost like, and this is what I've rediscovered in myself, and that's why I love my relationship with money, is we have to stay in almost a childlike wonder.
Yeah. And how beautiful is that?
Mhm.
You know that feeling people often have, like, oh, when I was a child, I had that wonder and it's gone now that I'm an adult. This is the way it opens up in an adult way rather than a child's way. So there's an innocence that we all have at our heart. Nature is waking up here so loud. I hope that your systems are dealing with it. The cicadas have all kind of clicked into place, and the bush is so alive here in Australia at this time of the morning. Yeah. So what was I saying, Joan?
Just the innocence in our
Oh yes,
heart.
yes, the innocence. Yeah. So we have that sense of innocence. To me, to be able to live as an adult with responsibility, with a sense of purpose, with something that I'm about, something that I'm doing or creating or contributing, and do it with that sense of, wow, the world is this beautiful, surprising, delightful place. And it really is. It has the beauty that you had as a child, and at the same time the maturity and the wisdom that you have as an adult. That's a really beautiful combination.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So you'd sent over, I asked you for 3 tips for people, and I would love for you to share what you.
Oh my goodness.
Wait.
Sometimes people ask me those things, and then look, I might not give you exactly the same ones.
Relax.
Yeah. So my usual tips are, the first tip about money is to relax. Relax about money, but actually just relax. Relax in yourself, in your being. That will help you with money. My second tip would be, and I've really been talking about this all the way through, ask for what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pretend like, either pretend, well, I can't do this because I don't have enough money, or oh, I'm not that kind of person, or that's never going to happen. Just ask for what you want. Small things and big things. Put it out there. Another way of saying it, ask for it. And the best way to receive what you want is to relax and enjoy. Actually, enjoy your life. Do whatever you need to do. Do it with enjoyment. Have fun. Really, just relax, enjoy. Don't be too serious about everything that kind of blocks money. Relax. Ask for what you want. Enjoy or relax. Those are the things that actually open this up. Not complicated stuff, simple stuff.
And everything you just said, those 3 things, relax, ask for what you want, and relax, is going to make your household with animals that much better also.
Yes.
We always come back to, like, it's such a parallel track, the energy of money and the energy of animals, and who we need to be with each of those.
Yeah. I hear so often people saying that they heal their relationship with their animals as they heal their relationship with themselves, as they relax and heal their relationship with money. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Claudia, is there anything we have to kind of, Claudia usually does wind it down.
So we do have to wind it down because of timing purposes. I want everybody to know who has commented that we will be answering your questions and replying to your comments. Sarah was very kind to give you all a gift, and I am going to put it right here in the comments for you to check it out. I will put it in the comments for you to check it out. For some reason, it's not working because I'm doing 3 different platforms at the same time. But Sarah, if you could just do a little blip about what that gift is.
Yeah. So I have what's called the Energy of Money scorecard, which is a way that you can answer a bunch of questions about your relationship with money. It's really about your relationship with the energy of money, about what I've been talking about all the way through this. The questions are useful because they help you to see what are the things that really make a difference. I ask you things like, how much do you enjoy your relationship with money? How much do you enjoy receiving money, spending money? Because very often we think, I've got a good relationship with money, but actually I don't enjoy any of that. Enjoyment and relaxation are very key. So they're questions that ask you about money, about work, about purpose, and about financial organization, that structured piece, which all are very important if you want to grow your relationship with money. So it's a way that you can kind of do a stock take, you can do a self-assessment of where am I now? And I'm quite sure, because I've seen this over and over again, that if you engage with your relationship with money, you would see a significant change over a few months and, of course, over a longer time as well. In those scores, the scores are not important. What's important is that you're getting results, that you have an active, engaged relationship with money that's going to enable you to do the things that you want to do. It's a good starting point.
That's a great starting point.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I have to tell you, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you getting up at 4. I woke up at 4 this morning. I looked at the time and I went, oh, I have a feeling that Sarah's getting up this early for. And then I sleep. So I had a little yeah, I felt how you must feel. So I hope that you have a really great day ahead. And I'm so appreciative. I know that we're going to connect on our own the next week or so, but I cannot tell you how important this is with as a kind of kicking off to where we want to go as people that want to help animals and to stay in that mission, whether it's a little mission or a big mission or a coming together mission.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter the size, because you'll be part of what comes together with the big. The smaller ones become part of the big ones, and then you all have your family. We all end up helping each other in whatever way is right for us. I so appreciate, Joan, the fact that you understand how important this is. People don't always think like that. And you were one of the first people, I think, who realized that the topic of money is important in this world of animals. And like most people would think, oh, no, this seems so different. And yet it's so central. So I really appreciate your own recognition of that and the way that you share it with your community.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well,
okay, just really quick, I have to say, everybody's commenting, Sarah, how wonderful it is to watch the sunrise behind you and to hear the nature sounds. So it's a perfect ending to a perfect podcast broadcast. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.